What's going on, Destiny players? Matt here from the Outer Rim, bringing you another Thursday night Kessel Run tournament. This edition is the Thursday night trash version, where each player brings something a little different than normal. On the left, Kenny is still running his Gungan deck. He's made a couple changes to it. Instead of an Elite Jar Jar, he's now running Taking Ground. Matt on the right has brought Elite General Grievous and Single Die Anakin with the Royal Palace. Just had the roll off, and looks like Matt will win. He'll take Theed to get rid of the Arena of Death. Kenny's going to put the 2 shields on Boss. And we're off and running. Matt will power action, gain a resource, gets an additional action to pay 2 for the crafted lightsaber on Grievous. Reminder that with Grievous you can ignore play restrictions on weapons when you play it on him. Gungan rolls a shield. Matt will roll out Anakin, hits a special. He can discard a villain card from his hand to deal 2 damage to a character. Kenny rolls out the other Gungan. There's a blank. That'll be 1 indirect. Matt will put that on Anakin. Grievous is going to roll out. Hits a 2 disrupt on Grievous, a blank, and a resource on the crafted saber. Kenny will roll out Boss. There's another blank, another indirect. That one will go on Grievous. There's a logistics play from Matt. That'll give him 2 resources. He's back up to 3. His whole strategy is to try to get as many weapons on Grievous as possible, up to 4. So we can use that power action to spot 4 weapon dice in the pool to deal 4 damage to a character. So here comes Jar Jar. Jar Jar rolls a discard, so everything else will get re-rolled. We get a 2 indirect, a blank, and a blank on Kenny's side. We get a 3 melee and 2 blanks on Matt's side. He's going to go ahead and shoot the 3 into a Gungan warrior. Alright, so we get 2 for a Senate Chamber there. That'll allow him to have a lot of focus, try to maximize the indirect damage on the Gungans. Looks like Matt's reaching for 3. Yeah, he's going to go ahead and pay 3. And there's a dagger. So there's 2 weapons, turn 1 on Grievous. Not a bad start. 2 pretty strong weapons at that. Alright, Senate Chamber rolls out to a 2 focus. Matt will immediately hit emotive, calling focus. Kenny hits it, so that's going to get removed. Be Kenny's action now. Kenny will just discard the last card out of Matt's hand. It was another crafted. Matt claims. We get a power action on the Senate Chamber. That's going to give Kenny... He's going to swap it over to the resource to play logistics. He'll get 2 resources out of that. So there's 2 indirect. Kenny will pay 1 for a first aid, so that'll completely heal the Gungan. So Kenny's back to full health. Matt has 2 on Anakin and 2 on Grievous. And we'll pass, and we'll move on to round 2. So the Gungan's able to get in 4 damage round 1. Matt got 3 damage on the Gungan, but that was healed. But his board state is in a much better situation. He already has 2 strong dice on Grievous, who already has 2 dice of his own that are pretty powerful. Get a Theed power action here. There's Maul's saber. There's another power weapon. Once again, that ignore play restriction on Grievous coming in strong. That would normally be a blue character only weapon. Kenny thinking over his actions. He's going to pay 1 for the T-16 Skyhopper that has ambush. It also has the ability to search your deck for a mod, which is what he does. He goes for the laser cannon, and once he activates the laser cannon, that'll deal 1 indirect to Matt. That's just trying to get that indirect engine going pretty strong early. And little indirects like that can really hurt a 2-wide deck. 3-wide deck, you can spread it out as much as you want to, but a 2-wide deck it does start to really put the pressure on if you can get those kind of cards out early. So Anakin's going to roll out, get a blank. Comes the first Gungan. It's going to be a shield. Comes Grievous and all his weapons. Just a little bit of damage. Get a resource, a +3, a 2 melee, +2 melee, and a 2 disrupt. Jar Jar roll out. Jar Jar rolls a shield, so everything else will get re-rolled on Matt's side. There's some damage. Get a 2 range, a 3 range, a 1 resource, a 2 range. Sorry, not range, melee. 2 melee, pay 1, a special on Anakin, and a +4. So that's gonna be a it's gonna be a dead somebody. He's got a couple options here. So he's showing 9 health, or 9 damage. That's not going to kill boss. So the indirect engine will still be on. He can try and kill a Gungan. He could overkill Jar Jar, but I don't know that you really want to kill Jar Jar. I think you kill the Gungan. You either go after Boss Nass and put him down super low health, or you just kill the Gungan who hasn't activated yet. And that's what Matt will do. So he kills the one Gungan. And now he's going to start putting a little bit of pressure on boss. So he'll remove the shields on boss and deal 1 to him. So he'll be at 8 health remaining. Matt doesn't have any resources to pay for the crafted, so that's why it stays in the pool. So luckily for Matt, that Jar Jar action worked out well for him. Probably going forward, he wants to more than likely try and activate Jar Jar first. Okay, so there's a flank to remove the special and Anakin. Get a discard or reroll for Matt. Boss will roll a disrupt. Matt still doesn't have any resources to pay for that crafted. But he can resolve the Grievous die. So he'll put 3 more into boss. Senate Chamber rolls out with a 2 focus. Get another discard to reroll. He loves that pay side. He can use the 2 focus to try to maximize and get 4 indirect, which is what he looks like he's possibly doing. He still has a power action this round for the Senate Chamber. So he's going to go ahead and focus boss to the 2 indirect. And focus a Gungan to the 2 indirect. So that's 4 total. Matt will reroll to a resource. The crafted lightsaber has 2 resource sides, so it, in essence, can help pay itself back and get your engine going pretty quickly. Kenny resolves the 4 indirect. Matt puts all of it into Anakin. He's going to use Anakin as a meat shield going on from here, since he's got a good board state on Grievous. Matt took the resource on the crafted, and he also claimed. Kenny will resolve for the 1 shield on boss. So boss is at 6 health remaining. Jar Jar and the Gungan are still full health. Anakin is at 4 health remaining, and Grievous is at 11 health remaining. As we get started here around 3, we get a power action. There's our 4th weapon, paying 3 for the heirloom. Grievous' power action is live. That's 6 dice coming into the pool at with 1 activation. That's going to be hard for Kenny to really try to mitigate here. Gungan rolls out a resource. And here comes Grievous and his army of lightsabers. There's some damage. A 3, a +3, a 1 melee, a blank, a 2 disrupt, and a shield. And Kenny immediately throws down the easy pickings to get rid of the 2 3s. That saves a Gungan for now. Or boss. Matt went for the resource there for a minute. I'm not sure what for. Said he's going to activate Anakin. Anakin hitting the resource. Boss will hit a blank. That'll be an indirect. That goes on Anakin. Anakin down to 3 health remaining. You're going to see a discard to reroll here from Matt. Oh, nice play. Forces him to roll in Jar Jar. That's going to reroll everything for Matt, except for the shield. The dagger was on the shield. So we'll put the dagger back on the shield to reroll everything else. So Kenny rolls a blank and a shield. Matt rolls a melee, a 2 melee with a 1 cost, a 2 melee, and a resource. He's got the money to pay for the crafted this turn. Question is, does he want to use it to do that? It's 5 damage. It's not enough to kill any particular character. Kenny's going to use the power action on the Senate Chamber to remove Jar Jar. That'll blank Anakin's die. Matt will discard the Stifle to reroll. There's some damage. Have a 2 melee, a 3 melee. It's like a 1 melee also. So he'll pay 1 and kill the other Gungan. With Kenny putting diplomatic protection on Boss Nass, he'll become the last target here. Senate Chamber comes out with a resource. Matt will discard logistics. It's a blank and a +3 on the dagger. So Matt in pretty good control here. Anakin's close to death, but Grievous has got plenty of weapons on hand. Looks like Matt's going to go ahead and discard to reroll again. There's a resource and a blank. Kenny rerolled and had a 2 focus and a 2 indirect on boss. There's a 2 indirect. That goes on Anakin. Matt thought about taking the resource, but instead decides to claim. Trying to stay ahead of the curve here. Keep that power action going. So we get a discard there on the Senate Chamber. And we're off to round 4. Jar Jar full health. 6 health remaining on boss. 1 health on Anakin, so this will probably be Anakin's last turn. General Grievous with 4 weapons and 10 health remaining. And there's our power action. Matt's going to play Furious Assault. That's going to allow him to spot General Grievous to roll in all his weapon die. It's a resource, a shield, and a +4 on Maul Saber. Good play there by Matt. Go ahead and try to finish off this game. It's a really good card when you get it with 4 weapons on your character. When you get it with none or 1, it's a waste of a card. Boss rolls out with a 2 indirect. There's the power action. That's going to deal 4 damage. He's going to deal 4 to boss. That's not going to kill boss. So that diplomatic protection will stay in hand. There's 2 indirect. Now, does Matt kill Anakin here to save damage? He does, actually. I think the game is in a good spot right now for him either way, so he can go ahead and just soak a damage into Anakin to be fine. So Matt will discard Way of the Force to reroll everything except the Maul Saber. Get a blank, a resource, and a shield. There's 1 indirect on the Skyhopper. Matt will force Jar Jar to roll out. Jar Jar hits on the 1 indirect, so everything from Matt will get rerolled. There's a blank, a +4, and 2 resources. Pretty much the same as it was earlier. I think Matt's going to go for the gold here and try to get as much out of the weapon dice before he actually activates Grievous. Kenny pays 2 for the mortar team. There's a discard of an heirloom to reroll. Yep, and there's some damage. I have a blank, a 2 melee, a +3, and a +4 now. So that's 9 damage. There's an indirect on the mortar team. So Matt goes ahead and just overkills Jar Jar. That'll save 1 indirect damage back to him, but also will not pop the diplomatic on boss. And since he still has a full activation of Grievous, this is slowly getting to the end. It's a Senate Chamber with a resource. Now Grievous will roll out. There's a 2 melee, a blank, a resource, a melee, and a resource. So he is showing lethal. Okay. Kenny's going to blank or remove the Senate Chamber die to blank the dagger. Matt will discard his add odds and reroll. And hit a ton of melee. That's going to be it, folks. Grievous takes it home with his 4 lightsabers over the Gungans. Guys, thanks for watching this video. Make sure to like and subscribe for more great content from the Outer Rim. We will see you on the next video. If you have any comments or suggestions for us about future videos or future decks, leave those in the comment section and we'll be happy to check them out. Thanks and have a great night.